Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine18. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Welcome or welcome back. In this video, I'll be sharing a unboxing and my initial thoughts about a deck that is not new in terms of publication, but is new to me, and that is the Tarot of the Cat People by Karen Kuykendall. This is a deck that has been on my wish list ever since I saw an excellent review by Juli over at Peekaboorose. I'll link Juli's review below. Since she's worked with this deck quite a bit, her review will get into a lot of detail that my first impressions inevitably will not. As I've mentioned previously in a monthly recap video where I just mentioned getting this deck, when I had heard of this deck initially, I thought that cat people meant cat heads on human bodies, so I never gave it a second look. But then when I saw that, Juli's video made clear that it was in fact humans who live alongside cats, and there was a kind of science fictional backstory and universe related to the depictions in the deck, that convinced me that I was really interested. So I had kind of had it on my wish list thinking, at some point it will join my collection. And then I saw this copy at a shop, and so I picked it up. And I'm fairly sure, please correct me if I say anything that's wrong, I don't know the full publication history of this deck, but I believe that this is an out-of-print version, this particular box set. But the deck, as I understand it, is absolutely still in print through US Games. It just now comes packaged differently in a tuck box with a smaller version of the book. So this one, just in case folks are curious, has a copyright of 1985 and 1992 on it from US Games, and it does note on the back of the box that the deck was printed in Belgium. I mention these things because I will, of course, bend the card and make some sort of comment about the cardstock that is probably not that informative, but is a thing that I feel the need to include each time anyway. And I don't know, if the cardstock is the same as the one that you can get now from US Games, though I'm sure most folks are familiar with US Games cardstock, so it shouldn't be a surprise what it's like. And Juli's review, again linked below, goes through in some detail the differences between this book, the Tarot of the Cat People book, which is out of print, and the little white book that comes with the deck now, which is just kind of a shortened version of this. There's quite a bit of kind of verbatim the same content. But they are, of course, slightly different. So, the back of the box notes that the set includes a spreadsheet for performing ancient 10-card readings of the past, present, and future. It also notes that the Tarot of the Cat People book was written by a single explorer to the outer regions, a vast area very, very far away, very mysterious, and quite alien. Having begun what was to be a brief journey, she remained with the cat people, studying their ways and adapting their costumes, taking part in their work, play, and rituals. Now, for the first time, Karen Kuykendall reveals the secrets of the outer regions in all their splendor, and it goes on a little bit. And the box also notes that this is a complete 78-card deck in stunning full color. Science fiction and fantasy combine in the art of Karen Kuykendall, creating a tarot deck situated in a distant place known as the Outer Regions, where people have a special rapport with nature. So I liked the sounds of that, and I've seen the deck online, so I'm very excited. It did come already partially ripping open, so I don't even have to get out the scissors in order to unbox in a reasonably efficient way. I'm not sure what exactly this packaging is going to do. Just as an aside, not relevant to anybody else's experience of this deck at all, but because of the shop where I bought this deck smells really good. They sold a lot of incense at the shop, so that's a kind of fun bonus. Okay, so this is a cardboard box that has 3 cards on the side, and then the deck is in a box like that. And then other things come out like this. Oh, there's a spread sheet and the book. And then this is kind of cardboard pieces that hold everything in place. Now I'm pretty sure that this deck, that this is how it now comes, is in this tuck box. This image feels familiar. And it notes here, Tarot of the Cat People made in Italy, US Game Systems, which is interesting because the back says that the deck was printed in Belgium, but this was made in Italy for US Games. And the side of the box reads, the Tarot of the Cat People blends tarot symbolism with the imagery of science fiction and fantasy. Each card depicts a full-length portrait of a stunning figure in ornate dress with elaborate jewelry and headdress. Cats appear everywhere, enhancing interpretation of the deck. So, already, this is a deck that wasn't on my radar until Juli reviewed it, even though it's been out since 1985. And it has everything that I love in one deck. It has tarot, it has science fiction and fantasy and cats. So this is, you know, like all these tags that ask, like, what do you look for in a tarot deck? So far, so good. Look at this first. It's going to be huge. It says ancient. Ancient means it's the Celtic cross. 10-card tarot spread. And it says the diviner lays out the first 6 cards as shown. After reading cards 1 to 6, the last 4 cards are then laid out and read. So the first 6 cards and the 4. And it has this. So you could lay this out and put the cards on top of it. I am not going to do that. But it is quite straightforwardly the Celtic cross. So I'm sure folks are quite familiar with versions of that. So I will just put that to one side. The book, which is Tarot of the Cat People, A Traveler's Report. Instructions and Designs by Karen Kuykendall. And here it has the image of the Wheel of Fortune card on the front. Okay, and the back of the book reads, would you like to explore the world beyond? The outer regions, the great unknown, the unexplored, the great beyond. A vast area, very, very far away, very mysterious, quite alien. Gives vibes of where no person has gone before, which, you know, I like that. A land that, because of its remoteness and its hostility to life as most people know it, has assumed legendary proportions, fueled by the tales of those few daring explorers and intrepid traders who have returned with exotic artifacts, rare jewels, and tales of their journey. And then there's some that's also on the back of the box that I already read. And it says the major arcana cards, or Vapala, represent the Diamond Kingdom. The suit of swords, or Thanosis, is the Ruby Kingdom. The suit of wands, or Twahihik, is the Emerald Kingdom. The cups, Azingir and Pentacles, Kaulawe, are Topaz and Sapphire Kingdoms, respectively. Cats are the favorite animals in the outer regions. Here too. Everywhere, cats of all types are revered, loved, and even obeyed. Tarot of the Cat People book provides a fascinating insight into the stunning illustrations of the popular Tarot of the Cat People deck. So, Juli mentioned that she found a copy of this fairly easily, despite it being out of print. So hopefully, if this is something that interests you, that will be the case. The book. This is really interesting because the box is copyright 1985 and 92. This box doesn't have a date on it. The book is copyright 1991, so I'm not sure if the 1985 then would have had this in it or not. I'm assuming no. but let's see. There's a pronunciation guide for the different kingdoms, which I probably just said them all wrong, but I'm not going to redo that. There is the section called the Traveler's Report, including sections called Cats, the Ecology of the Outer Regions, the Cat People, Languages, Religion, Government, the Economy, Weather Stations, Art and Recreation, and Costume. So there's a whole section on the universe of this deck, which I think is fantastic. And then there is a section that looks to be about a page long for each card. So the table of contents lists all the cards and the page. And then there's the 10 card spread, which I'm assuming is the same one. Yes. The Celtic method described by Arthur Edward Waite in Pictorial Key to the Tarot, which is again explained in the back. So this is cool, I think. I like the idea of there being a world. Okay. Just skimming briefly to share some interesting things about the creator and the creation of this deck. I'm not going to read the whole entire section, but it notes that Karen Kuykendall is inspired by lots of different things, including especially the location of her home, the desert of Arizona. She was born in 1928 and raised in San Diego, California. And her educational background includes arts, motion picture, costume design, and illustration, and art history. In the late 50s, she developed for Jamestown Lounge Furniture Company of New York a line of medieval-inspired paintings which are still illustrated in their catalog. She taught public school in Arizona. She's worked in painting and in papier-mâché sculpture, has had work shown all over the place. In 1965 and 66, she was the only female editorial cartoonist working in the United States. And she published a book on art and design in papier-mâché in 1968. And the books Cat People and Karen's Cats, which were written about and illustrated with her own cats. Creates papier-mâché jewelry, goes to science fiction conventions, dressed in the costumes of the cat people. Favorite subjects for art are richly costumed people, fantasy and science fiction, equestrian, and of course, cats. And so in terms of the medium of the deck, which I swear we will get to at some point, we're only 13 minutes in. Doing well so far. The medium. The artist devoted more than 2 years to the preparation of the original art for the deck. Each original card was painted in acrylic on board, measuring 9.5 inches by 15.5 inches. The artist painted the figures, masked them, and then splattered the backgrounds using a toothbrush. And this is all from a little introduction written by Stuart Kaplan. And so I'm excited to delve into this book, and particularly to learn about the outer regions where the cats live. Now, I said I didn't need any scissors. Hopefully I didn't. Okay. It's all good. The deck is plastic wrapped. I'm not sure the purpose of the plastic wrap inside the plastic wrap that was on the box, but, you know, I would like to see less plastic packaging on everything, please. The cards are plastic wrapped inside the plastic wrap, inside the plastic wrap. So, tuck box, fairly familiar to us all. And it comes like this, and it has a little white book. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same little white book that it would come with now, or if the little white book would have been changed in recognition of the fact that, as far as I know, the deck is now only sold like this without the bigger book. Maybe Julie and I will have to touch base and see if these books are in fact the same. Okay. There's the guidebook there. This is copyright 1985. It has the same brief introduction about the artist, Karen Kendall, as I just read little chunks of before. And then it has a section on the cat people, a section on the 5 outer kingdoms, and about a paragraph for each card, including a little write-up describing the imagery, and then the divinatory meaning, and the reversed meaning, and the 10-card spread at the end. So they really love the Celtic cross because it's in here 3 times. I'm going to assume, based on what Julie shared, that this is actually the same as what comes with it now, or very similar. Okay. Here's the back of the cards with cats on them. Check out the little cat face. Reversible. Now, I just had to look at the cards to make sure there wasn't a horrifying misprint of some kind, because there are a couple of totally blank ones, but with the backs. I could draw my own cats, a Daryl and a Bandit on there. That would be good. I'm not going to do that because they would be terrible, but, you know. And this one says printed in Italy. The blank card says printed in Italy there. This one says nothing. It is interesting to me. Maybe this is something to do a bit of like deck publication history sleuthing about why it says that the cards are printed in Italy on the cards itself, and it says that the deck was printed in Belgium on the box. Who knows? I mean, I don't have a preference of where it would have been printed, but it's interesting that different locations are offered. So the deck is standard size. Here, I'll bend a card for you to say, look how sturdy it looks. It feels, to me, thinner than what I think of as the standard US Games cardstock. So compared to something like Dreaming Way, say, it feels a little bit thinner to me than that. I could be wrong, but it feels a little bit thinner to me. But a good, you know, a good finish, matte, nice. And the cards have a copyright on them. I normally wouldn't show stuff like this, but because it's a different edition than what is now available, I feel like it becomes relevant. That's not going to show up very well. Anyway, there's a copyright on this card, which you're not going to be able to read, which says 1984 US Games. So, I suppose that is the date, but they are. I'm going to look again at these kind of things about the new deck because I'm curious what, if anything, is different. The Fool. Without further ado, at 19 minutes, the first impressions and walkthrough starts. The Fool, I really like that the Fool has a cat chomping on their leg there at the back. That's fun. And this is really interesting when you know that these backgrounds are made with a toothbrush like this texture. So drawing the figure first and then covering it so that this splattery texture could be made. That would be very time consuming, I think. And the artist's name is in the bottom corner, very subtly and very small. The Magician. I like these billowing outfits so far. And the Magician has a golden cat on their head. Obviously, finding all the cats is going to be part of this. The High Priestess. You can tell that the artist has a background in costume, for sure. The Empress. Remembering to cover my face with the card because it helps with focus. The Emperor. These are really cool. And I like that there is diversity in terms of skin tone, some diversity in terms of body size, and especially in an older deck. I like that. So in this one, it's called, I mean, I like that in every deck, but don't always see diversity in a deck from the 80s. The High Priest for the Hierophant. Okay, so the Lovers has cat lovers at the bottom. I really like that. The Chariot has a flag with a cat on it. I like that there's a black cat, of course. It's interesting. It feels like a kind of science fiction and fantasy that has the kind of historical inspirations to it. I feel like there's quite a bit of that in the kind of science fiction of the 80s, 90s. These kinds of science fictional and fantastical societies that have very clear kind of like real world or earth based inspirations in terms of the way that the characters are styled and perhaps the artist having a background in, you know, medieval inspired paintings and things like this. This is unsurprising. The Wheel of Fortune is on the book cover. There's two cats there. So of course strength is 11. I like that the cat is being ridden on and not having their mouth forced open. I don't really love that in a strength card. The backgrounds are so cool. The Hanged Man. Death has a cat skeleton. I like that death. It's interesting, but feels quite traditional at the same time. Temperance. I like those colors a lot. The Devil. These cats are not very happy. The Tower is a tower that is shaped like a giant cat with humans and also a cat falling out of it, if you can see there. The Star. Moon. The Sun, the Lion. So far the titles of the majors have been quite traditional, but for Judgment we have Rejuvenation. Look at the cat's face. That is so good. I like that. World. Dancer. Okay, so the order that they have these in are Swords, Wands, Cups, Pentacles. They do not feel color-coded in any way. Now, I'm just going to check in the book. I recall Juli mentioning that the suits are a little bit unconventional, and now I don't remember why that was. Why is that? Swords are the Ruby Kingdom, Wands are the Emerald Kingdom, Cups are the Topaz Kingdom, and Pentacles are the Sapphire Kingdom in the little book. Oh yeah, this was it. In the front of this traveler's report, it notes that the suit of swords, which I'm going to show first, is the fire people. And so you'd think that wands would be fire, but wands is actually sand in this case. Cups are salt, which I can make sense of with the ocean being full of salt. And pentacles is rock people. So that part makes sense. I don't know how much this will kind of show in the imagery, but we will find out. I'm peeking ahead. There's a little bit of kind of a color scheme running through these, but not too much. So the swords, they start at the courts. So for courts, they have a king. I like those cats in the background. Queen in the same room, I think, with those cats on the back wall. I like her. Knight. And the page. I'm peeking ahead at the gender representation of the courts. fairly expected. Oh. Page. So the Ten of Swords, as a person, they're not being stabbed by the Ten of Swords, but they are looking anguished by the Ten of Swords. But then look at this cat face, like looking at them in their moment of sorrow. This cat is just so excited in the background. I would like an explanation of the Ten of Swords. Okay. This is going to be an interesting deck to explore. The way that it explains this cat head going on in the background here. It describes the figure being imprisoned with their misery there in the bottom of the card, and then it says that she doesn't notice the potential danger, nor does she see the hope issues forth from the crater in the form of a fire cat's head. So that's that. That's a cat hopefully emerging from a crater there in the back. The cat people believe that no matter how bad the evil, a good can arise from it. The volcano will transform and renew the landscape with nutrients from its lava. The soil in time will become fertile as never before. Interesting. It's interesting. The explosion of cat face as a sign of hope. Nine of Swords. It's a bit different. He's kind of looking down, and but it's not the usual kind of Smith-Waite Nine of Swords, which I like. The 8. And the Seven of Swords, this cat, I don't know if the cat is being kind of bounced or if the cat is levitating. The cat is maybe in some kind of force field. I'm into it. Six of Swords. Five. Four. So these aren't too, they're not super traditional, really. Like this Three of Swords could almost be, I mean, minus this sword here, could almost be a Two of Swords. And Ace. Wands. I like how there's this huge cat on the bottom and then there's this tiny cat on the person's head. That's fun. Oh, and the Queen has them too. Knight. Page. Ten. Nine of Wands. This person looks a bit stressed out about all of these cats in the background. Cat's facial expressions are so good. This cat is leaping for these. That's amazing. Seven. 6. 5. Again, you get a sense of conflict and also this cat face. This is like a holy shit cat face. The 4 of Wands, they're just really happy because they've just had a meal or something. Oh, and there's these little tiny ones in the background. Looking over at the fun that's happening here. This is all without me reading the guidebook. Like, the guidebook could say something completely different, but, you know. The 3 of Wands has these kind of sculptural cats. 2. So the numbers align with the number of symbols, like the number of wands or the number of cups, but not with the number of cats. That's okay. This cat is on fire. Why? There's a book for that. The book contains some cis-normative thinking, I will say. Cis-normative thinking. But to explain just the cat part, this figure is greeting a fire cat, which is born of the fires of creation. Fully grown, ready, and enterprising, it comes forth. Anyone lucky enough to encounter a fire cat will live happily ever after. It talks about it being specifically a woman on the card because women give birth. That's the context of that comment about cis-normative thinking. So that is there in the book. I wouldn't get that from the images, but that's there from the book. Cups. King of Cups. Has a tiger. Queen of Cups also has a tiger. And they also have the cat heads on top of their crowns. Knight. And Page of Cups has a little baby one. I don't know if that's a baby tiger or maybe a tabby, which resembles the tiger in its stripiness. Oh, the 10 of Cups. Look at this cat faces. Oh, this cat is having the cuddle of its life right there. Nine of Cups. Eight. Fairly like a more Smith weight. 8 of Cups. 7 of Cups. Most of the cups are empty, but one has a cat face in it. What else could you want? Right? 6 of Cups. The cat faces are amazing. 5. The 4 of Cups has this tearful cat in the background, looming over the person. Three of Cups. Like so many cats. 2. And Ace of Cups. This is also this cat levitating in a force field, or so it looks like at first glance. And the Pentacles have leopards. Okay. Queen. Knight. Page. Oh, I like that page. Pentacles. Ten. With a huge cat. 9 of Pentacles. 8. 7. Oh, 6 of Pentacles. Look at all these cats waiting. This is like my house when it's time to do cat food. Sad. 5 of Pentacles. 4. 3. 2. Note the impressed, contented cat face. And the Ace of Pentacles. And this cat reminds me of my cat Daryl, even though they look nothing alike. But they have a similar attitude, I think. So, that is the Tarot of the Cat People. I am fascinated. I am so glad that this book is going to explain exactly what all of these cats are doing. There is really an entire world built up around this world. So just as an example in the book, like I've never seen this before, but picking out a few sentences just for interest. Costume. Dress throughout the outer regions is basically unisex. Differences in style are due to rank or status, or to a particular realm. Long, loose, flowing clothing protects the body from the sun's rays while allowing the air to circulate. Only in Thenosis do people sacrifice coolness to the safety of more close styles. They can't risk a loose sleeve, hem, or trouser leg catching a drifting spark. They're the ones with the fire. And in an emergency, they need to move quickly and without restraint. Like, there's so much music, dancing, and sports play a great part in the lives of the cat people. Some sports are played in teams or in synchronized groups. Others are individually. And there's a bunch of examples. The outer regions are dotted by weather stations from which the sky and terrain are monitored. Weather people relay information from station to station by drums or mirrors, with the stations perched atop rocky outcroppings and so on. Talks about everything being made by hand and not having big factories in the outer regions. The governments being monarchical but not totalitarian, with rulers in some of them being elected. Elections are accompanied, as in the inner regions, by political maneuvering and bickering. Look at that. The various kingdoms of the outer regions each have their own sets of beliefs, rituals, customs, traditions, and legends. Common to all of the kingdoms is a belief in the cosmic order, which is defined as the essential rightness of things, the idea that there is a place for everything and that everything is in its place. There are different languages, but some people know multiple. Men and women have the same opportunities in these kingdoms. The natural lifespans of the cat people are very long. Okay, I'll leave you with this bit from the section called The Cat People. The cat people, that is all the people of the outer regions, enjoy and respect the company of cats. They are adept cat keepers and have an intuitive rapport with cats, even to the point of understanding cat language. I wish I could understand cat language, except I know that my cats would say very few things, and most of them would be food-oriented. The physical characteristics of the cat people reflect those of cats. They are graceful and agile, like feline. And the one group in particular move with lovely feline grace. A nictitating membrane, a third eyelid, protects the cat people's eyes from the glare and dust. Periodically, women come into heat, as do cats, and like cats, they attract many suitors. Oh my goodness. Their psyches are akin to their feline companions, comfort-loving but adaptable. My cats are not adaptable. How interesting. There's so much detail. I'm excited. I feel like I scored a good find at the shop. So thank you for watching my long and rambling unboxing. Thank you to Juli for your wonderful review of this deck that led me to pick it up. I'm really excited to explore science fictional cat world. I think it's fantastic. I wish everybody a great day. I'll see you all again soon.